medyo simple siya compared to the US. Mas costly yung US applications eh. Saka mas competitive.
Hello, Manong George here. Welcome to our channel. And today we have a very special guest.
My name is Kevin. I'm a doctor, a graduate from the Philippines, from UST. Graduated in 2016 and I'm now working as an internal medicine trainee or like a resident in the Philippines. Year 1 in London.
Manong knows best.
So funny thought. When I graduated from the Philippines, I worked like internship kami in DOH, and then after that we were lost. Like I don't want to do residency in the Philippines kasi we're still doing 36-hour shifts. Walang sweldo. Lagi na lang palamunin ng magulang until we graduate as consultants. So parang anong option? So we were searching for countries that would have like would accept us. Kaso mahirap kasi doctors, we need the right to work. So we need to pass exams and pay for our right to work as a doctor. So we researched US, Australia, UK, Canada, and the cheapest one and the simplest one that we could find is the UK. And mostly straightforward, very helpful yung mga websites. And a lot of people are answering our questions through like online groups, Facebook, etc. So ang daming resources, and we were able to prepare for everything just by researching our way through it through Facebook and websites. That's it.
Manong knows best.
To be fair, nasa Google naman lahat ng mga NHS sweldo, di ba? Para kaming band, yung start, kasi F1, F2, siguro parang band 5, band 6 yun. Kami, ang starting salary base is around 38 per year. 38, 39 per year. Plus out of hours work. Banding. So, on the average, a lot of SHOs would earn around 46 to 50,000 a year. And then once you get into registrar level, magiging like 60, 70 per year. Parang every 2-3 years tumataas siya. Until you go to consultant level.
Manong knows best.
Ito yung selling point sa UK. Sa UK, the hours are capped at 12 hours. So we only work a maximum of 12-hour shifts. We work on the average 48 hours a week. As compared to nurses, I think 37.5, is it? So yun yung standard as a doctor. But you can opt out. You can just do 40 hours a week, which is the actual standard. Pero less yung sweldo mo. So that's one. Two is the hierarchy is almost non-existent. So you can chit-chat with your consultants. Very helpful yung mga tao in general. As long as you don't do blunders, yung mga gross mistakes. Medyo straightforward naman. Tapos, basta the support system is very good for us doctors. And yeah, I mean, ano pa ba? Guidelines. A lot of the hospitals have local guidelines. So, you're basically operating on a pathway lagi. So you don't have to decide on your own. you always have something to guide you whenever you do clinical decisions. So in a way, it keeps patients safe. At least you, at the very least, if you actually don't know what you're doing, you can just search your local guidelines and then see what to do.
Manong knows best.
Similar sa nurses, first and foremost. So what I think the main difference is wala kaming agency that would recruit us. So it's ourselves. So basically, we're doing everything ourselves. First is do the IELTS or the language test. IELTS and OET are acceptable. But what I did was IELTS, academic, UKVI. And then after that, we need to book for the PLAB exams. Which is 2 parts. Part 1 is, PLAB 1 is written. Part 2 is OSCE or practical exams. They're quite difficult from the Philippine system. So part 1, you can only take it in other countries. Tapos medyo time limited siya, time constraint. Tandaan ko ihi ako when I was taking the exam kasi
Wow! Okay!
sobrang haba. Tapos bad choice that I had coffee before. But anyway, that was doable. Self-study siya. We didn't have to apply for a course. And then after several months, we took PLAB 2, which needed a course, which is quite expensive din. Pero 2-week course siya sa Manchester. And then sit the exam. It's like 18 or 16 to 18 stations, 8 minutes each. May examiner, may pasyente, and then they'll give you a scenario, what to do. Medyo difficult, but doable. Marami nang nakapasa. So I learned, I know a lot of doctors here who passed it. So anyway, after passing the exams, you need to apply for GMC registration, which basically parang formality na lang siya. So you'll need like certificate of good standing from a good moral, from PRC. Kailangan i-verify yung diploma mo from your medical school. And then that's it. If you, medyo time-consuming lang siya kasi marami hinihingi minsan yung GMC, but it varies from officer to officer who's handling your case. Then after that, we apply for a job via NHS Jobs. That's a website, centralized lahat na NHS vacancies. And then just get whatever job you want. Usually, we need to apply for 50 or more jobs to get interviews. Yeah, medyo simple naman yung job application process. Pero para straightforward siya, pero you need to tailor your application to which job you're applying to. So, kunyari may freestyle paragraph section doon. So, you need to convince them that they would want you. And then, yeah, so once you get an interview, medyo straightforward naman. They'll tell you if you got accepted. And then they'll give you a sponsorship, certificate of sponsorship or COS. And then you can apply for a working visa. And then you can fly to the UK and start.
Manong knows best.
Fair, the exams, you can take them in other countries such as Australia. I think meron din sa Pakistan, Egypt. But ayun lang, hindi wala sa Philippines. We had to apply for tourist visa to get the exams. But yes, kung gusto ng mga tao mag-apply, makakapag-apply sila. Ang hassle lang ngayon because of COVID, ang daming gustong pumunta ng UK, even in other countries. So mahirap mag-book ng exam slots. One was able to book end of last year. Pero yung exam was on November next year. Ganun katagal yung waiting time.
Manong knows best.
So firstly, yung IELTS, medyo mahal. So 12K agad yun. Next is the PLAB 1 exam, £240. So That's it. And then PLAB 2 costs more, 879 pounds. That's like 50,000 pesos-ish. And then, again, you'll have to apply for a tourist visa multiple times kung kukunin mo yung 6 monthly visas. Depends on where you want to take your exams actually. So, kung gusto mo sa Australia, kung gusto mo sa ibang bansa. Next is airfare, which is very expensive right now. Before, it was cheaper kasi walang COVID. And then, accommodation, accommodation, food, daily expenses. I think that, but more or less, when we started our journey, we accumulated around 350,000 pesos that we had to shell off. And that's like, thank you parents yun. Which is basically our fate naman if we stay in the Philippines. We'll have to get the support of our parents kasi nga kulang yung yung sweldo as a trainee doctor in the Philippines. So simple siya compared to the US. Mas costly yung US applications eh. Saka mas competitive.
Manong knows best.
So number 1, I think what I said earlier, groups that have very much like a treasure of information. Yung mga Facebook groups named PLAB. Another group is IMGs in the UK. And another one is Pinoy IMGs or Filipino IMGs in the UK. So IMG stands for International Medical Graduates. So there is a Facebook group and there is someone else, I think, manning it. But they are really helpful. If you post a question in the groups, someone will answer. And yeah, if you want to start your journey, I think that's a good place to start. At tas may mga websites like Savvy IMG, marami pang iba, but those are all in the Facebook groups. Next is jobs here in the UK. They are not only interested in clinical proficiency, they are also interested in teaching, research, and quality improvement. So if you're trying to apply for a UK license or a GMC license, while you're doing it, taking the exams, make sure you also get experience from teaching, research, or quality improvement. Teaching, I think doable siya. I did teaching jobs in 2 medical schools in the Philippines. You just have to know the right people to ask for a job there. So that's easy teaching experience. Next is research. I guess that's a bit difficult in the Philippines because we're not big on research. Unless you're from UP or someone is big on research in your hospitals. Next is quality improvement. Yun talaga halos wala sa Philippines. We don't do audits and QIs usually back home. That's a bit of a struggle. But I guess if you could build up on those 2, research and teaching, that would help your application. Tapos, I think yun, build your CV whilst you're doing the exams. And there are a lot of other pathways you can choose from. So mine is the PLAB pathway. The other ones are like specialist register pathways. Some also try the MRCS or MRCP pathway, which basically it's a harder set of exams, more exams, but you don't have to take PLAB at the end. And you're technically more senior if you start there. In terms of, you can apply for more senior jobs, but it's quite scary kasi NHS. Marami kang kailangan matutunan if you could, to be able to function well. So I started as a junior grade at mas maraming support. So yeah. But yeah, you could research a lot of other pathways you could choose from. So make sure you tailor it to what suits your context.
Always remember, Manong knows.
Manong knows best. Put your worries to rest when staying in the United Kingdom. Manong knows best.